Hey everyone, Jason Franks with Games for Gaijin. I'm back to finally review the game that I think I said I was going to review back around episode 4 or 5, and that's Auction Party. This came out at Game Market a few years ago and continues to be at the show at RadiuThree's booth. They've even released a app version of this board game here in Japan. So you can get this for your iPad or iPhone on the Japanese App Store. But we're, of course, here to talk about the board game version. This is a really cool game for 2 to 4 players that combines auctions and bidding, obviously, dice rolling, and quite a bit of push your luck in a really fun, cartoony fantasy theme. This one really took me by surprise. I bought it solely based on how vibrant the art of the cover was without knowing too much about the mechanics aside from a few poorly translated websites. Ended up opening it, playing it with my friends, and loving it. So let's take a look inside and see what you think of Auction Party. All right, so here we have Auction Party all set up. So Auction Party is an auction game, as you might imagine, but it's also a push your luck dice rolling game. The game is played in 3 rounds, where each round has 5 phases. You start by auctioning off 3 sets of heroes. Then, after totaling up your score and determining turn order based on total stats, you go shopping for items. Then, after going shopping for items, you're going to go adventuring. After you adventure, you are going to determine any end of quest rewards, and then you're going to do the cleanup phase. So let's walk through the core aspects of this game. First up is the auction part. So there's going to be 3 auctions. Each auction is going to have a 10 gold, 20 gold, 30 gold, and 40 gold hero that you can hire to go on your dungeon quest. What's important to know is that depending on what space they're in, that's the minimum bid for that character. So there are 5 different types of classes that you can recruit in Auction Party. You have the knights, you have the thieves, you have the paladins, you have the wizards, and you have the clerics. The katakana here is actually fighter. So fighter, thief, paladin, cleric, or wizard, and cleric. Each of them have stat specialties. Obviously, clerics specialize in piety, wizards in intelligence. Paladins are kind of a mix of skill sets. Thieves specialize in agility, and fighters specialize in strength. Based on whether... So every hero is going to have a mix of stats. Some have really high in one stat. Some have a spread across multiple stats. The D heroes tend to be much better than the A heroes. So all of that is used to inform how much you should bid on these. So what you do is in the 3 auction rounds, you take your little stat card and you're going to bid on 3 of the heroes. So let's say I wanted to bid on the fighter, the paladin, and the wizard. So I would say that the paladin's in the number 1 spot. So I would write number 1, and I'm going to bet 30 gold on the fighter. The paladin is in the number 3 spot. I'm going to bid 60 gold on him. I really want that paladin. And then the wizard, that's in the number 4 spot. I'm just going to bid the very basic amount of 40 gold, like so. So that's what you would write in secret on your little score sheet. Now, before we go further, I need to tell you what the win condition in this game is. It's gold. So everything in this game is spending your victory points to get more victory points. So when bidding, you need to be very careful that you're not throwing away too many end of game points. So essentially what you do is you just go hero by hero. Okay, who bid on number 1? Everybody raises their hand. How much did you bid? The winning bidder gets that in this case, fighter. If there's a tie, the tied players hold their scorecard back to their chest and they fill in an additional gold amount. So I would put like that. I'm willing to bid 10 additional gold for a total of 40 to get that fighter. If I'm outbid, I don't have to spend anything. The winning player is the only one who pays up for that hero. So you do that 3 times, collecting your different heroes. So let's just say that I'm going to take this stack of 3 to just say these are my 3 heroes. All right. So then what I do is I'm going to add up all of my stats. So I have 4 plus 1 plus 0, so 5 strength. I have 0 plus 2 plus 0, 2 intelligence. I have 1 plus 4 plus 0, 5 piety. 1, 0, 3, 4 luck. And 1, 0, 4, 5 agility. So I'm going to add up all of these totals. So 5, 10, 15 plus 6 is a total of 21. The highest stat total at the end of the auction round gets to go first for not only shopping for items, but also adventuring. So shopping for items is pretty self-explanatory. You pay the amount of gold listed on the item to obtain this one-time stat boost that you can use on any battle. So let's say that I bought, since my intelligence is really low, this magical orb, which will give me a one-time boost of 3 intelligence in a fight. We then move over to the dungeon. So the goal is to get to the treasure chest. Now there are 4 levels to the dungeon, one of which you have no idea what's under it. This is one of the 2 mechanisms for getting gold in the game. Defeating monsters will give you the reward in the upper right corner of each card. The other way to get gold in this game is how quickly you're able to clear the dungeon. So you can see you have at least a minimum of 4 turns to get to the goal. If we flip over this auction card, we have a little tracker for exactly that, which we would use the extra pawn to mark through these. So let's say that I succeeded on my first one, succeeded on my second, failed on my third, then succeeded on my fourth, succeeded on my fifth. I would go here and get a bonus 200 gold at the end of this game round. So best case scenario, you win all 4 of your fights, you get 300 bonus gold. Worst case scenario, you do it in 8 rounds and you only get 10 bonus gold. So there's a huge swing in how efficiently you move through the dungeon. Battling is pretty self-explanatory. When you move on to a dungeon space, let's choose this right here. You can choose which stat you want to fight. Do you want to fight 11 luck or 11 agility? So looking at my scorecard, I have 4 luck and 5 agility, so it makes more sense with my heroes to go after the agility stat. So what I'm going to do is first decide if I'm going to dedicate an item. Once you dedicate an item, it's spent. You can't take it back once you see your die roll. So since my item is for intelligence, I'm going to save it. I need to roll at least a 6 to match the 11 for this dungeon. So let's roll. And I rolled exactly a 6. So in this case, I would clear this dungeon, pick up this card, and score 50 gold at the end of the game round, like so. Now the remaining players have to choose from the remaining monsters to fight in level 1. So you can see there's a huge advantage to spending big to get a high stat total so that you can go first and decide which monster or hazard or dungeon you want to try to tackle so as to give yourself the best chance of success based on your stat distribution. The one final cool aspect of this game is that all the classes do have special abilities. So my fighter, if I roll a 5 or a 9, I get to use his special ability. My cleric is a 5 or an 8, and my thief is a 5 or a 9. As you can see, I rolled a 6, so no special ability for me, but they're really fun and they add a lot of flavor to the game. Fighters can disable other players' heroes for one battle. Clerics can insta-kill certain monsters if they have the right symbol on them. Thieves can steal gold from other players. The wizard can re-roll an extra die. And then the paladin can sacrifice himself to kill any monster, but you lose him for the rest of that dungeon round. So really unique and interesting abilities. Clearly a pretty awesome push your luck mechanic. And then at the end of the day, it's all about resource management because you're bidding with your victory points. Most gold wins the game. 3 rounds, and that's an auction party. Well, there you have it. That's Auction Party. Just a lot of fun, a lot of flavor. These are the types of games that I like to see out at Game Market. I love that they made an app for it because I'll be honest, as much as I love the table feel and as nice as the components are, this one probably would play a little easier in a tablet format. Although I don't really know how it would work playing against computers. There's definitely a lot more fun in an auction game and in a push your luck game when you have human opponents. But either way, I think RadiuThree really hit it out of the park with this game. I'm super excited for them to make some more games. I hope they have something new at the fall game market. They didn't at the spring one, but they were selling more copies of Auction Party. If this one looks interesting to you, please check it out.